Keep your powder dry, folks. Good evening. How we doing?
All right, our 100th show. Well, of course, I've only
that's
been here for like
something.
25, but you've been here for 100 of these shows.
I've been here. Well, most of them. I mean, I've had some subs once in a while, but yeah, for the most part, I've been around anyway or checked in, right?
All
And
right.
I've just checked out everything except, and I don't know if it's because
My Facebook came up.
yeah, but our G&T701 Twitter did not. Again, I don't know what goes on with it. They have it working one day and not, but it looks like Fascist Book is working, so
Yeah, got that
that's a
going.
good thing. And Eric, I'm glad you started it out there. Eric says, "Happy birthday, Mike!" And we were just talking about that. Happy 57th, Mike.
57th birthday. Look at that.
Yeah, I mean, 8 more years, and you can draw Social Security, something like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm waiting for.
That's what you're waiting for, right?
Yeah, there you go. No, but I laugh because you turned me on to watching Clarkston's Farm, Jeremy Clarkston, and watching him. And he was the other day. Me and my wife were watching it in its first season. And he goes, "Oh yeah, I'm getting ready to turn 60, and blah blah blah." And I'm like going, "Oh my God, I'm 47. You look like hell, man. Oh, I look fantastic compared to that guy." I'm like, "All right, well." Thank you very much for the birthday there, Eric, by the way.
We discovered that on Amazon Prime. And guys, if you haven't watched it yet, go watch Clarkston's Farm. It's very funny. It's very good. It's a little bit language, but I'm telling you, it is a pretty good.
I'll tell you what, though, for a rancher farmer over here in America watching that, I think it's that much more funny. It is.
I love how he's dealing with the government issues all the time, man. I tell you what. Anyway, that kind of going off board. Hey, Dan, good to see you. We haven't seen Dan on. Good to have you on, Dan. Eric, of course, is with Brian Warner. And let's see, we got about, looks like 1 or 2 over at Rumble, a few on the website. Josh Patterson, he just chimed in. So, yeah.
There he is.
And you know what? I get it. It's a beautiful night out. It really is. And I actually came from the hayfield, jumped in the shower, and come here. So we could do our 100th
show
episode.
Guns701.com. Hey, before you go on real quick, I've got one complaint.
Okay, go ahead.
I got one complaint. So I was down in Yankton when all the storms came through here in South Dakota. I was there for a Masonic thing, and all the roads were getting flooded out, and everybody was having the problem. We had 16 inches of rain in just like a 24-hour period. So I found out from all my buddies down in Sioux Falls that a lot of the plumbers in Sioux Falls had gone out and bought all the sub pumps off the shelves. And then when nobody could get any, of course, they got called to install, charged 3-4 times the amount. So if we ever should bring back shaming, I mean, that's the thing is, if I shamed you, a guy who did that, he'd claim some sort of whatever for the law and sue me for defamation. Well, it's not defamation if you're an asshole that did it. So that's
unbelievable. Yeah, you guys had some nasty storms down there, and our thoughts and prayers are with everybody down there. I can tell you that right now. I can't imagine dealing with the flooding that we're hearing about, and just the loss of crops, hay, and everything else. I can tell you, being in the ag industry, I can tell you right now, it'd be as devastating as having hail, probably even more. Yeah. Hail goes away, snow goes away, tornadoes come through. I mean, but I'm telling you, flooding sticks around. All that water recedes, and then there's a huge cleanup.
So long, and it's just there. And of course, now we've got roads and bridges and dams all falling apart, and that's just a domino effect going down the road on everybody else too, so downstream. So yeah, it's just a nonstop thing, and kind of keeping everybody in our prayers on that one. But
absolutely. Well, I'll tell you what, why don't we start like we do usually traditionally, and that's with our Second Amendment. And we have a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. And we like to
Do you think anybody's going to read that on the presidential debate tomorrow?
I bet nobody's going to read it. My question is, and I do this to politicians, I always walk up and when they tell me they're big gun guys and they're big gun supporters, I always ask them, do you know what the Second Amendment says? What's the right to keep and bear arms? No. My question was, do you know what the 27 words are? And I've only had one actually repeat it to me, and that was legislator Hawk. I believe that's how you pronounce her name up there. I believe District 36 out of that Dickinson area, and she knew exactly the wording, and she actually knew what it meant and why. Like her, she's great. I know we're going to work on some legislation this year. Got a lot of stuff we're going to bring up in the next session up here in North Dakota. But hey, Lynette, good to say. She says, "Yay, Facebook's working." Doug Thompson, good to have you on. He hasn't been on for a while. I suppose he's been busy. He works up there in the Watford City area, and I know that's still going right along. Josh just got off work. So, all right, guys. So, we should just probably dive right into this, huh?
Yeah, we've got a lot to go on for tonight. We've got so much planned, so we should just kick right into it. Let's start
out with what we got planned tonight. And I'm going to put this up here for you. I want everybody take this number down. 605-770-7027. I'll leave that posted up there for you for a little bit. We have a giveaway that's going to be taking place later on in the show. And what we're going to do is we're going to leave this number up, take that number. We're going to give you a question right before we go into the badass of the week segment, which is a replay, but it's a good one. Everybody's a little bit busy, so we're going to give you one of the best ones we had that fit into the time frame, and then that's when we're going to have you call with your answer. And I will give you a little bit of hint. The answer will be included in the picture that I'm going to put up later, but you can also follow the website for it. So it's not going to be hard, but it's not going to be just a giveaway. You're going to have to go searching for a little bit. So again, take down this number. If you're just joining us, 605-770-7027. And I'm going to leave this up here. And make sure you jot that down because you're going to need that number later on during the badass of the week, because the first caller that calls with the correct answer, they're going to be the winner from Bloodline Kinetics. They're going to be the winner of a certificate that has one free barrel threading job that'll include the thread protector and one thread adapter for specific caliber and barrel diameter. So there it is. I have it for you, and we'll get it to you right away as soon as we can drop it in the mail to you. Or if someone local gets it, we can just give it to them. Yep. And we'll get you over to Bloodline Kinetics for that great barrel threading. And that's to celebrate our 100th episode. So, all right. Now I'll turn it back to you.
So we've got to talk a little bit about the latest we've gotten from our U.S. Surgeon General, Vivek Murthy. Now, I have in the background.
Is that this moron?
Hold on. Which moron are you pointing to? Oh, yes. Look at the simple fact of the suit. I mean, I'm like going, look
at that guy.
Yeah, you've got like this. He's got like his. It still looks like he's got his whatever you call it, thing underneath his coat there, like he's adding shoulder pads, like from the 80s. I'm wondering what's going on with that anyway. But I like the fact that he's got all these ribbons down here for all his battles that he's done.
Yeah,
of course.
Well, he's an admiral, right? Wasn't he the admiral?
He's a rear admiral, vice rear admiral, and I'm sure he got all
rear admiral. There you go. Yeah,
he's rear something. So his thing came up the other day. He has declared that gun violence in the country is a public health crisis, calling on Americans to act to prevent rising firearm-related deaths and their cascading effects, particularly on Black Americans, young Americans, and other populations, even though, and Clay, you can finish my sentence on this one, the statistics and everything shows that violence is down, that shootings are down, and that all that stuff's down, and
supposedly,
yeah, there you go.
And guess what else is up though? What? Gun ownership and gun
ownership. There you go.
I mean, we just talked about that on Mitchell in the Morning, how the sales hit another record in May. I mean, wow.
I found a subreddit on reddit.com. You always get new stuff that scrolls up, and liberal.
For those of you listening to the podcast, I saw this comment. One of our longtime listeners, Brian Waters, says, Beetlejuice. He's right.
So it's true. You got to say it 3 times.
Anyway, yeah.
So on liberalgunowners.com, or Liberal Gun Owners is what it is, a subreddit on reddit.com. And it had a lot of guys and girls were talking back and forth to each other about how they need to own guns to protect themselves because society doesn't protect them, police don't protect them, and everything else. And I sit there and I go, yeah, there you go.
No brainer, right?
No brainer on that. Now you're on the left leaning side of all that, and you're still coming up with the same conclusion that we've been screaming all these years. That yes, you should have your gun rights. Yes, you should be able to own a gun. Yes, you should be able to protect yourself with a gun. And once again, it's a tool. It's a tool for all of us to use. So yeah, but it's amazing how you see that flop around, but you don't see that going out on regular TV. So CBS, the Gayle King hour, I guess on the other morning. So Vivek was on there, and he's talking about firearm violence is an urgent public health crisis that has led to the loss of life, unimaginable pain, and profound grief from far too many Americans. Now, his plan is to, along with Biden's new gun thing, the 2020 gun violence, blah, 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 and all that. Whatever. I forget what that whole inner White House group is called. That
their little, something, an imaginary coalition, basically.
Yeah. Anyway, he says one of his goals is to take out of the realm of politics and into the realm of public health. Otherwise, and I did read through this.
Well, you know why that is.
He wants your doctor to now not only ask you, do you feel safe at home? Do you have guns at home?
Yeah, they've actually been trying to do that for years.
Right. Well, now from his position, he wants to run that through. Do you have guns at home? Are they locked up? Are all these other questions that they want to answer now? I'm not answering these questions. One, because it's none of your goddamn business. Two, I came here and I'm paying you for a service. That service is not to sit here and put me in some sort of, whatever, because you are going to do, if you do as a doctor these things, I'm sorry, but you're just capitulating to this madness.
Well, they're in on it then. I mean, you obviously know what they think if they actually do this. And so let's get a few of the comments here right away. Jamie says 100 episodes. I'm going to load up 100 rounds of ammunition now. Good to have God's cartridge. That's a 223.
God's cartridge.
Well, that says, yep, way to confiscate your guns. Angie says, maybe they should end violent video games for kids. And Jamie did point out from 701 23% of large cities stop reporting violent crime to the FBI, and that's one of the reasons that crime's supposed to be down. And we all know that the crime thing, everybody, I mean, we got a big debate coming up tomorrow, and we're going to talk about that here in a little bit. But this is all, Biden's numbers are tanking. They're horrible, and even in the swing states. We've never seen this actually before, even in 2016. Okay, it definitely wasn't happening in 2020. So the whole landscape, it's probably as bad as when I was looking at some of the numbers as Carter versus Reagan. I'm telling you, it's really reminiscent of those numbers. But anyway, getting back to what the Biden administration is doing, is they're reporting that all these stats are down. They're really not. But it doesn't work for them. They either are down or they're not down. And if they're down, well, then that just codifies what we've been saying, more guns, less crime, right? And that's actually true when you look at the areas where the most gun ownership is, with the most people carrying. Guess what the crime is? Not that bad. An armed society is a polite society. There we go. There's a T-shirt, right? I mean, that's just the way it is. And we all know it. We all know why. It's why you don't out here you know where I live, Mike. I'm in the middle of nowhere. You know what? We don't get robbed. We don't get people. I mean, there's strangers showing up in this area, and California, Oregon, Washington. They're starting to migrate out here. But so far, I think they're a little scared. I know when you see them around, especially when they see a gun in your pickup, you're carrying a gun, they're not used to that coming from those West Coast or the East Coast area. But again, we're not having the crime spree, and I'm guessing that one of the reasons is because we are so armed in my area. And I'm sure the correlation's there. Can you imagine someone coming here trying to steal gas out of my tank?
No.
Wouldn't be a good day for them, would it?
No, not at all.
Might take that gas and douse it on them and take care of a little justice on my own. But anyway, I'm telling you right now, the whole reason they're going after this from a health crisis, well, we just saw that in 2020. What do they do when they do everything in the name of safety or in the name of a pandemic? and that's what I've heard this called before. They're just rebranding it, calling it, gun violence, and it's a health crisis. We've seen this before about under Clinton. We saw it under Obama, where it was a pandemic of gun violence or pandemic of gun crime. The CDC was even trying to go out there and do it, and I imagine they're still doing it. This is all the way. They can't get the things passed legislatively, so they're trying to do it regulatorily and declare pandemics, emergencies, crisis, whatever they want to call it. So
emergency powers.
They want
emergency powers to come down. Yep. One more thing on this. Former Congresswoman and gun shooting survivor, Kathy Gilbert, who apparently can't duck, who founded the Giffords Anti-Gun Violence Organization, which is all up in the White House's butt right now, says that she called on policymakers and the U.S. government to heed the Surgeon General's warning. She says, I have seen firsthand how shootings are a major threat to Americans. Now, she, before all this happened, was a gun-carrying person. Always had her pictures in her political things with the AR with her husband and all that. And of course, she took a shot, and it never should have happened. She took a shot from crazy. Never should have happened. One, I mean, apparently her security was shite anyway. But I mean,
and not just that. She took a shot, and it was by a leftist liberal lunatic. Mm-hmm. The guy had a history, a mental illness, and then it goes all goes back to this mental illness discussion. And we're not going to go down that road tonight because we can be here all night long, and I still got to go bale hay yet.
Yeah,
but Giffords. I mean, she could become an anti-gunner. Her husband's an anti-gunner now. But we just want common sense gun control, and that's what this is about. This piece of crap here from Vivek Murthy. Not Vivek, the good Vivek. No. This is the moron that we showed you the picture of. He's a leftist. You look at the other things he talks about. He always mentions minorities. I'm so sick and tired of hyphenated Americans. You know what? We're Americans.
No, I agree with that. I'm an American.
We're Americans. We got poor white people. We got poor black people. We got poor all kinds of people.
Yeah.
Quit singling them out and trying to split us.
Let me tell you this.
Segments, and that's what this is about.
Nobody ever talks about Appalachia. Nobody ever talks about West Virginia and how bad they are there. And from drug companies ramrodding stuff through there and DuPont and everything, all this crap that's gone left and right. But that money's lining the pockets of politicians, so they don't bring that stuff all the time.
No.
By the way, the NRA did have a response. They had a longer one than the one they had posted here, but they decried the advisory as an extension of a Biden administration's war on law-abiding gun owners. And that pretty much sums it up right there, because it is. I mean, you're not talking about, you're telling me that you got a gangbanger and all this other stuff out there, and he goes to a doctor that, or whatever, that he has to listen to this crap, or do you have any guns in your house? Well, how many? And, I said, hey, doc, I came in here because I got a pain in my side or whatever. Shut up. I'm like, I'm going to go to another doctor. And unless
you just said it. Hey, Vivek, shut up.
Yeah, there you go. Vivek, shut up.
And, I don't know if most people probably listening tonight probably didn't even know who the Surgeon General was. I knew the name, honestly, Mike, till you showed me the picture.
I knew the face, and
I didn't even know the
picture. I've seen him in the backgrounds all this time, and he's a waste. But once again, you look at the guy, and we can joke around about his medals and whatnot, but I mean, he's never served a war. He's never. So where do you get this stuff? Where do you get ribbons for tours of duty and whatnot? I don't understand that. I mean, just. You put on a black suit, do what you got to do, be a doctor if you want to be a doctor, but don't you talk about stolen glory or valor. There you go, right there. That's one for you.
Hey, want to welcome our guys over in Rumble. We've got some over there now, so hey, Thanks for tuning in. If you want to comment over there too, I do monitor those on my other screen, so if you do, I'll just take them and I'll throw them over on our side so you can see them. So, well, Mike, anything else you want to add to this one? I mean, I think we've kind of pounded it, but basically it's just one more tool in the toolbox that the left is now using, and they are going to go through your doctors on the background. And people are afraid to talk back to their doctors. But I'm telling you right now,
If a doctor comes and says, Doc, none of that's any of your business. Let's talk about what I came in here for. And if he has a problem with that, seriously, I know where you are. It's a little more scarce on where you go for doctors and stuff, but go to another doctor. I mean, just say, dude, if you want to toe this line and this and that, has nothing to do with the fact that I've got bronchitis or a broken hand or whatever else. Just, it has nothing to do with it. So
no, absolutely.
You're towing the Fed line there. It's a joke.
Yeah, it is, and it is just another way they're going. We've seen it before, and they're not going to give up. They're just never going to give up. That's why it's important. The elections are important, and they have consequences, not just presidential, all the way up and down the ballot. Your sheriffs. The sheriffs are most important. I don't know how many times I've said that on here. You have to get constitutional sheriffs to run and win and take those offices, because they are our last line of defense. They truly are. So,
and on that note, I've noticed a big spew in the last 5 or 6 years on a lot of TV shows and whatnot that they play the constitutional sheriff as the worst guy ever seen. I mean, they are always played off as the worst villain that you can ever see. And we know it's different.
Oh yeah,
we know it's different. So yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yep, no, and I just welcome everybody on Twitch too. I was over there and seeing that there's some people there.
Awesome.
I think at least one logged in. Oh, there's 2 on there now. So great.
And we got dedicated listeners.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what, with that, we should go on to our first break. Thanks some sponsors. And remember, jot this number down, everybody, 605-770-7027, because we're going to use that later on tonight when we give that great gift certificate away from Bloodline Kinetics for a barrel threading. So join us right back here. We'll be right back after this break, and we'll go into what we're going to talk about with AI. I think we got some interesting stuff about AI, don't we?
We do. We got a new good one. All right.
Great day, everyone. You guys are the real stars.
I'm from the Athlete's Foot Foundation.
Brother, hey, can you get my demo tape to somebody?
Lauer Auto Repair, located at 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota. Give them a call at 701-258-6308. The team of mechanics at Lauer Auto can take care of any problem your vehicle is having. And when you do business with Lauer, you can be assured you're doing business with a pro Second Amendment America First repair shop. There are plenty of other auto repair shops in the Bismarck-Mandan area. But why take a chance at patronizing a shop that might not have your beliefs at heart? Make no mistake. Lauer Auto is your pro Second Amendment repair shop. When you talk to the guys at Lauer Auto, don't forget to tell them that you heard they are a sponsor of Guns and the 701 and that you appreciate their support of our pro Second Amendment, pro North Dakota live stream and podcast. That's Lauer Auto Repair, 701-258-6308. 701-258-6308. Located 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Experience the exhilaration of power in your hands at Bloodline Kinetics. Why Cerakote? Simply, it aids in firearm preservation while also giving your piece a unique look. Barrel threading, NFA laser engraving, bolt handle threading, mount, level, and bore, sight scope chamber, rebarreling, and much more. Bloodline Kinetics is meant to reflect a long American lineage in gun ownership, who stand for the Second Amendment rights, Bloodline, and the science behind gun accuracy, Kinetics. To some, it's just a constitutional right that can go away. To us, it's in our American bloodline, and we believe it should stay that way. Here at Bloodline Kinetics, we understand that hunters, sportsmen, women, and gun owners should have a quality firearm. Stop and see us at 2008 Morrison Avenue 2 in Bismarck, North Dakota, 58504, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Call 701-390-7997. Visit our website, bloodlinekinetics.com.
Oh yeah, I gotta push that button, don't I? Again, there we go.
Oh, there we go.
There we go.
We're back. Hey, we're not pros yet, are we?
we got a few things left. We're learning this new board here, so it's kind of nice. But hey, by the way, I got these cool beef sticks that my son brought home yesterday from the Alexandria locker. Right,
yeah.
that is thicker than Vivek Murdoch's neck. The Surgeon General. So
I think you're right. I do. I mean, look at that. Yeah, these are. You're right there.
I'm looking at it. Yeah, that's about right.
Gotta be. Yeah. So, and hey, that's a great locker. Like I said, I was telling you that the old field rep, when he'd go through there, that's where his mother lived. So he'd always stop and he'd bring some treats for us when we have our NRA meetings for Friends of NRA. That's when I was just a lowly volunteer, No,
just a lowly out there on the road, 50,000 miles a year.
Well, I wasn't the rep then. Yeah, I was just the chair up here for our banquet. But hey, we got a few people in here. So Wayne Muth, he chimed in here. Hey, Wayne, great to have you on. I haven't seen you for a while on here, and then that's okay. By the way, Wayne, we got to get you on here. He's got a show that you're gonna have to remind me, Wayne. If you want to put the info in there, just type it in, and we'll give you a little plug for it. But on the Outdoor Channel. And then we got Doug Wolf, Axe there. He says, is that a germ killer or an Astroglide on your desk? I'm sure that's in reference to the docs asking about firearms.
Right, yeah.
It says, Dead Wolf Resistance 13. Let's go 100% on fire. So glad to have you guys listening in tonight. Steve Borg Resistance. They are not our leaders. Give them no attention. Well, you're right. I have no leaders. They are supposed to be public servants. Let's get this right. We live in a representative republic. They are not my leader. But they are supposed to at least represent us and serve us. And that we've got away from that. Gene Cox, he says, how does anyone get out of a gun show alive? Can you imagine? How do we get out of there? I'm telling you, how do we get out of them gun shows with all them crazy guns sitting out there, right? Yeah. And then Gene also talked about talking about Giffords. She got shot by a nut job who should not have had a gun. Exactly. Kenny Lanou. Hey, Kenny, good to have you on here. He says, years ago, I took my young daughter to the doctor. They asked if she felt safe at home. Get this. They asked his daughter if she felt safe at home. She says, yeah, my dad has lots of guns. I love it. That'd be something my son would say. I love that one. But that's where we're at. Hey, Keith, good to have you on. Haven't seen Keith in a while. I thought I saw your vehicle at your dad's this weekend, Keith. Evidently, I must have, because he says my dad shot a skunk in the street the other day. By the way, still smells going by the highway over there. We just come through there yesterday. But I was busy going to the hayfield, so I didn't stop to talk to anybody. I did stop at Eddie's a little bit and grab a bite. But Eric says, way back in 2003, when I went into the emergency room in Pier, they asked me if I had guns. He says, he laugh out loud. He says, then they asked me my religion. Really?
Okay.
All right, Wayne. Thanks for chiming in here. He says, Ranch America, working on the Dead Meat Show for North Dakota, South Dakota episode, both on the Outdoor Channel. Thanks, Wayne. And maybe we'll get you on here. I know you were on Jamie's show, but we're all part of the same club here. So we'll get you on, Wayne, and we can probably talk a little bit about that. I think that'd be kind of fun, wouldn't it, Mike?
It would be. It'd be a great one. I love having guys and gals on the show. That's always been good.
We haven't really had a guest on for a while again. So, all right, I'm going to turn this to you. But first, I want to remind everybody, and I'm going to put this back up here. Take this number down, 605-770-7027, because you're going to need that when we go to give that barrel threading away. Josh said he's going to sit that one out because he actually won the one on Jamie's show. So
awesome.
Appreciate that, Josh. You're eligible, but we appreciate that. We surely do. And let's get a few people. And I like the fact that we can send people to one of our sponsors and say, hey, we did it right here. We want to thank everybody. Go check out our sponsor. And our ARs are about done, Jamie. I just talked to Jacob today. So all right, Mike, I'll turn this over to you now.
So here's the deal. There's a new AI technology that's coming out, and we've got some states that are looking at it. Surveillance cameras, which already worries me as it is, over school campuses. Now, the new technology from a company called Omnilert hopes to put these cameras to work to detect guns. Now, we're going to go ahead and show the video here real quick. And you want to fire that off, Clay, and put us in the right thing? We'll talk about it as we go, and you want me to fire it off? And you
fire it off here. Yeah.
All right. Let's go ahead and keep this. This is Omnilert.
There we go.
And you see, it sees the guns automatically, and it allows people to know that there's a gun approaching. Now, the technology is actually pretty good.
So is that a good idea or a bad idea?
Well, I'm thinking in some ways it's a good idea. But you did bring up a subject with me earlier on this. It says, so what good does this do when your police officers are 20 minutes out or 15, 10 minutes out, whatever?
And
I mean, if they're out in the parking
you'll
lot.
see that in this when we play the rest of this video. We're trying something new here. We're doing kind of a live play-by-play. Maybe we got to do that with a debate tomorrow. No,
oh, that'd be pretty good too. Yeah. So zero-eye technology, of course, integrated into the systems, and of course sends alerts to safety personnel.
Talking about right there.
Yeah. And law enforcement within 3 to 5 seconds. Now they say that. Yeah. Boom. Now, I can see that. Okay. All right. It's a technology that you saw that was coming for a long, long time. It's pretty cool. They're using this AI technology to actually be able to pick up a gun. Now, my question is this on another side of it is some little boy running across the thing with a toy gun or an umbrella or whatever else. Will it be able to differentiate before that? Will we have tons of false positives on these? That's what I wonder as well. I mean, in the long term, yeah. Would I want my kids to be safe in school and everything? Yeah.
And and I watched that video of the guy who basically developed this.
Yeah.
And it was interesting, and he had things to say. He was a resource officer. He didn't really address those issues. He thinks it's a great idea. Well, of course he does, because he's going to make a lot of money on it.
He's going to try to sell it. And like I said, they got a couple of states that are working on it right now, trying to get it into the budget.
Right into the school security cameras now. So, it's really not going to be an issue to do it. And I don't doubt that. But it's and then
all
what
the
about
money.
Jamie just said it. What good is that against a big knife or sword, both of which have been used in mass killing? Well, tell you what, let's play this video a little bit more.
Yeah, more. So it sends alerts.
Yep.
Trains for AI for comprehensive gun detection. The aim is to interpret potential threats before they escalate into dangerous situations. Makes sense. Now they got a company that's a live eye guy on there who gets alerted on it. Now he's going to get this thing and he's going to jump on it. Michigan and Utah and Florida and Iowa working on those right now for them to implement in 2023. Now, correct me if I'm wrong.
I gotta laugh at this guy. I gotta put this up here.
All right.
Doug says, "Is this a division of Omnicore that brought us RoboCop?"
And that turned out well, didn't it? Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I just had to throw that.
I wonder about this. Remember when we spent all these monies for police officers to have and feds and all that to have cameras on at all times when they're doing anything,
and they fail.
And yet they fail, or they're not turned on, or they just they weren't functioning. Only, of course, when they're doing something wrong. So here's another case of the situation: is who's maintaining this? Who's getting paid for this? And, I don't know. But
and we're going to see another thing here. Just
we got Kansas employ AI camera surveillance.
Legislation still pending though in Kansas. It hasn't passed.
Which means it's a hefty price tag, is what it is. I'm sure.
And we must have missed it. I know when we first watched this video, I thought it was very interesting.
That's a good shot right there. That's a good example.
Yeah. It shows showing that it's detecting a gun that's quite out there. Can it detect one under clothing? I doubt it. Or even a partial one, or is it going to get it right? But what bothered me the most was the database collection it was keeping.
Nonstop.
So that it could train the AI. I mean, that's what it said. They're having a database that they were keeping so that they could train AI. And if you looked at some of these scenarios, it had a camera and they pull up and then they pull their guns out, like if they're going in to rob a bank. And that doesn't always happen that way, especially in some of these situations. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm a little nervous of what they do with the data.
The data thing is a big thing.
Is it going to be, I'm walking by and I'm across the street and sometimes I carry openly, sometimes I carry, concealed. But then is it going to detect me? Because from what I was kind of reading,
response?
Yeah, and listening to this guy talk, it definitely could, or it's being set up to learn how to do that. There's no reason to trigger any alert just because I'm walking by across the street.
So
I'm definitely not in the school gun safety zone of a school.
You put this up at a bank. All right, that's fine. You put it up at a bank. All right, and I'm constitutional carry.
Yep.
And I'm going through the neighborhood, and it sees it on my hip.
Yeah.
All
About
of a sudden, I got an armed response. So what's the first thing an armed response is going to be prepared to do? Shoot me.
Shoot me. And they're going to be used, they'll be probably authorized for lethal force because
Yeah.
they're going in there and under a false presumption, possibly. I don't know where this is going to go. I think there's a lot to really look at. I think the states are doing the right thing by taking their time. They need to make sure this works. They got to make sure that it's not abused. That's what I always worry about. I do like the name of the company called OmniAlert. And I'm sure that's why Doug said OmniCore. I do find it kind of funny. I don't know. Would it have stopped any of the shooters? I don't know. The one that went in the Sandy Hook, if I remember correctly, came in through a window.
Right.
That wasn't even surveilled. So again, you're probably going to have to expand your surveillance so that you have every place covered if you're going to use this technology.
Right.
I think that it's better, and I've advocated for this. I know North and South Dakota passed laws to do this. Very few schools have taken advantage of it, but to have armed people in your school, whether it's your teacher, whether it's the janitor, whether it's the principal, it can be an employee of the school. They're all set up different, and it's left up to the districts. Why not have anybody with? I mean, I have no issue with a person with a concealed carry permit. Right. You don't need them anymore, but if you have one, you've went through everything you needed to have it. I really like the idea of armed teachers, but don't force them. But if they want to be armed, let them be armed. That's your first response. That can happen rather than sending an alert with AI to somebody behind a computer that gets the alert in 3 to 5 seconds. How about have the teacher respond in 3 to 4 seconds and take care of the problem?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Gene.
I think it opens a whole can of worms.
A locking door that failed to lock. I don't remember, Gene. I know one of those. Someone came in through a window. There was so many in the news. There wasn't, honestly. We can talk about them numbers too, everybody, because you kind of pointed out already, Mike, that there were only 3 school shootings this year
so far. Yeah.
I shouldn't say only. They're all bad, but let's just face it. It's not something that's been prevalent, and there was so many being reported that I honestly don't remember them all.
What we don't have is there have been a stream of people that have stopped school shootings this year, either by intervention ahead of time or other stuff. People seeing the signs and jumping on it. People seeing things going online.
Happy endings of the week, right?
And represent. Yeah, and it's self-correcting. I mean, it's kind of.
You know what I'd like to see, and Dan Brown's on. He's a retired police officer, and it was a damn good one. Why not see if our retired police officers would be willing to do? I know this has been suggested before. I think they're a better solution, or maybe another additional solution. I mean, I don't want to see kids get killed. Nobody does, but I think arming people, not creating a soft target, this still doesn't prevent the soft target. And Lynette makes a great comment here. And how many times we've said this? She says, yes, stop all the glass doors to enter. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Lemon's school district just built this stupid addition onto their school. The whole front's glass. And it's not bulletproof glass. The whole library is this rounded glass.
Right.
I could get in there in seconds. I really could. And do a lot of harm. I'd never do that. But I'm just pointing out how dumb it is. Yeah, it might look aesthetically nice and be a big showroom. I don't need a school to be a showroom. Let it be a school. Okay?
Yeah.
Let it be a school. But Lynette made a great. Kenny says, my home security system spots all the faces of the delivery guys, UPS, Amazon, etc. It can pull their faces, and they come from the database. Imagine that. The photo I see is not the one from my camera. That's kind of scary. Yeah. It is. It really is. Now, I have my own closed security system here that I implemented with my barn camera system. My nephew helped me all set it up. It's all can be internet based. It don't have to be.
Right.
And I don't have anything like that, Kenny, but I don't also let anybody. It's my own system.
Right.
I can see what's going on. It can alert my phone if I want it to, if I'm gone, things like that. But mine's on my own system. I don't have a Ring. I'll never have Ring. I'll never have, what's the Amazon thing? Alexa. I don't have any of that in the house, and I'm never going to have any of that in the house. It's I'm not going to load jack myself intentionally.
Sure.
Doug Wolf, all the liberal cities have shot tracing tech. Why haven't all the gang painters been caught? Yeah, that's
True.
right. That's right. Lane
You
asked,
know, I
what is the
remember
law in
when
regard
you
to
were
constitutional carry. Does the weapon need to be in plain sight? No, not that I'm aware of. When we passed all that, you can carry concealed, you can carry on your hip, you can carry openly. But what you can't do in some states is, go there and do that. Sometimes then you got to have a permit. South Dakota is not one of them. South Dakota, anybody that's legal to own a firearm can carry either concealed or carry openly. They've always been able to carry openly in South Dakota anyway.
right.
So constitutional carry pretty much eliminated the need for a concealed permit to carry concealed. But so, yeah. And Dan just answered it. He says, nope, it doesn't, Wayne. So just like we said there. So that's it. And we're going to be tweaking that a little more. I know Ben Koppelman, we're working with him on some stuff in Magram, and we're going to try to be working and tweaking a little more of that to even make it better in the 2025 legislative session. So
Now, remember 2017, when was the last couple of years you were NRA rep? It says
2016.
Oh, geez, that was longer than that. So I remember I called you up once because we were getting together in Brookings for a banquet, and
right.
This was new back then, but they had just put in cameras at the gas station next door that when you walk in, all your license plates all get scanned, and all your facial marks, because you can see the screens behind them. So you can see that all your faces are being recorded as well. Now that's Walmart and all those other places do that all day long. And like I said, where does all this information go? Before we end up into a situation like we are in China, where they, they're using it against you because you don't have good credit, for criminy sake. Yeah. I mean, that's what I think. I think that if a politician and a corporation can make money off of doing that, then it'll happen.
I think that you'll see some of that because, like you said, it's another data collection site. They want to market that. I mean, right now, and I thought this had nothing to do with guns and but it does kind of. Kelly Armstrong pointed out that these supercomputers that we carry in our pocket every day. Yeah. He goes, they're kind of scary because he sits on some of those committees and said that all that collection is valuable in dollars and cents.
Mm-hmm. And
that's why you don't want to have all that and share all that. I don't share a lot anymore. I definitely am not on social media much. I do not do, or I use a fake email with a fake name, really. I don't really give out my real information anymore on any of that stuff. Not that they can't get it. And
I don't mind saying your online account name because it's Baron Monster Rod von Hugenstein, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, no, it's ridiculous, but I mean, it's gotten to the point now where before I didn't want to go to that gas station anymore back in 2015
right.
because
now they all got it.
But now you can't drive anywhere without this collecting data on this, and not to sound paranoid, but you know what? People are selling. You wouldn't be doing all this unless there's a back way to make money off of it.
Well, and some of the gas stuff, I know why it came about. There were going to be so many drive-offs. So they have your plate, they have your description of your car, but they've kind of eliminated that now that you either got to use a card to buy right. or you got to go in and leave cash. And I always love that when you want to pay cash, especially if you're not from your area. Well, how much are you going to put in? I don't know. I don't know what, $4.21 99 is going to come out to in my tank because I don't know exactly the gallons. So I don't know. A lot of times I'll leave if I have to, I'll leave my card with them.
Yeah.
And I figure, well, I can get it back. I mean, I know where they're at. And then I go in there and pay cash. At least then they got some kind of, and some of them will do it, some won't. Some of them don't. They won't take cash. That's getting to be common. We take no cash here. If I don't need fuel or gas at those places, I leave. I try not to go to them places. It doesn't always happen. And, if you ever go on that hog hunt with us down south and we drive it again, you'll see all kinds of interesting things when you're trying to fill up. So,
well, I got to go to New Orleans here soon. So it's going to be
New Orleans.
So we're going to be dealing with a little bit of that. But yeah.
Keep that in mind, Jamie. You probably have to join us on one of them nights there when he's gone. He's going to try to join us on the road, but we might have Jamie come on, and maybe we'll do a dual thing with 701 Nation.
Now I'm supposed to be down there keeping an eye on my son, but if by some chance I'm wearing beads during my thing,
is Mardi Gras going on down there?
No, but I'll just be blending in. That's all it is. I like to blend in. I don't like to call attention to myself.
There you go. Love it. Alrighty. Well, that's kind of our AI stuff. Thought we'd make everybody aware of it. Good or bad, I don't know. No, I really don't. I don't know how I feel about that yet. I can see where it could be used for good, but I'm always skeptical about what's the repercussions we see later on. You know what it reminds me of? Kind of reminds me of remember the movie Time Cop?
Oh, I remember that. Where
the government had a program and they'd go back in time to stop a guy from committing crime he's going to commit in the future, or go forward if he's going to commit. So you were kind of guilty before you were guilty.
Well, the one that's the biggest one on that was Minority Report with Tom Cruise. Of course,
I never saw that one, but that's what that was. Yeah,
actually, for this video stuff, that would actually you'd enjoy that side of it. The rest of the movie is okay, but for that side of it, basically they had these precog people that were special that could see crimes and they would generate it onto video, and so the cops would have to figure out who and what's going to commit the crime. And stop them before they actually commit them. So they were arresting them before they committed the crime. So
wow,
that's kind of another thing. So this is just kind of a future of that. Hey, by the way, new technology we're using here, so we were able to do this with this video. So that works out pretty well.
Yeah, it worked out good.
Yeah,
we tried something new. I tried something new even. How about that?
I know, it's amazing. But
we'll take that off there. Oh, look at that. We went back to that.
That's all right.
There we go. And we lost the comments. What the heck? I suppose that turns it off automatically.
Yeah, it turns off automatically. There you go.
So Gene Cox says, I stopped at a truck stop in Grand Island, Nebraska at 3 a.m. once. Thought I was in the bar scene at Star Wars. And if you're still answering, do you remember that one we stopped at on the way back when we went down to the NRA Whittington Center in New Mexico? And we stopped at, I don't know, we thought we were going to get killed at that place. Holy cow. I'm glad we were all carrying. But, I mean, there was like one diesel pump that was actually functioning. And, yeah, it looked like that pawn shop that you stopped. What was the movie? Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
I think it was Pulp Fiction. Bruce Willis when they go into Zed's. Yeah, that's what it looked like. I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, I'm glad we were carrying him on that trip.
Where is Zed? Zed's dead,
fact,
baby.
Dan, I almost think Dan go with us on that one. I think Dan went with us. I think it was me, DJ, Dan, and Jeff, if I remember right. So, all right, well, we're coming up here. What about quarter two? Right at that.
Right.
Why don't we go do our triple, and then we'll come back and I think we're gonna give a little bit more info. I came to talk tonight. Info. On our giveaway.
You've been on the tractor too long. That's
yeah, I'm tired. I can tell you that. So.
I'm from the Athlete's Foot Bandit.
Brother, hey, can you get my demo tape to somebody?
Lauer Auto Repair, located at 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota. Give them a call at 701-258-6308. The team of mechanics at Lauer Auto can take care of any problem your vehicle is having. And when you do business with Lauer, you can be assured you're doing business with a pro Second Amendment America First repair shop. There are plenty of other auto repair shops in the Bismarck-Mandan area. But why take a chance at patronizing a shop that might not have your beliefs at heart? Make no mistake. Lauer Auto is your pro Second Amendment repair shop. When you talk to the guys at Lauer Auto, don't forget to tell them that you heard they are a sponsor of Guns and the 701 and that you appreciate their support of our pro Second Amendment, pro North Dakota live stream and podcast. That's Lauer Auto Repair, 701-258-6308. 701-258-6308. Located 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Experience the exhilaration of power in your hands at Bloodline Kinetics. Why Cerakote? Simply, it aids in firearm preservation while also giving your piece a unique look. Barrel threading, NFA laser engraving, bolt handle threading, mount, level, and bore, sight scope chamber, rebarreling, and much more. Bloodline Kinetics is meant to reflect a long American lineage in gun ownership, who stand for the Second Amendment rights, Bloodline, and the science behind gun accuracy, Kinetics. To some, it's just a constitutional right that can go away. To us, it's in our American bloodline, and we believe it should stay that way. Here at Bloodline Kinetics, we understand that hunters, sportsmen, women, and gun owners should have a quality firearm. Stop and see us at 2008 Morrison Avenue 2 in Bismarck, North Dakota, 58504, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Call 701-390-7997. Visit our website, bloodlinekinetics.com.
Ever tried catching a fish with your bare hands or hunting a deer with a stick? Don't be that guy. At Mandan Sporting Goods, we've got all the hunting and camping gear you need. We're your one-stop shop for outdoor adventure.
A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed.
Check us out at mandansportinggoods.com, or better yet, stop in to 210 East Main Street, Mandan, North Dakota. Mandan Sporting Goods, where the outdoors meets functionality. Store hours, Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Closed Sunday. Take up arms at Mandan Sporting Goods. Your adventure starts here.
Yeah, and also don't forget about Little Angry Man Arms LLC. I'll be honest, guys, I haven't had a lot of time to finish up the commercial. The voiceover's done, but go hit littleangrymanarms.com and you can check out everything John has over there, located in Trail City, South Dakota. That's Little Angry Man Arms LLC. Another great sponsor and brand new to the show. So.
You know, you hit me up, and we got the new computer down here that, of course, from some of our sponsors, we got a new computer for me to do editing. I need to put one in your tractor.
There you go.
For editing. So
yeah, then I can weave, and not for the right reason.
Oh, you don't have one of those automated tractors that stays the line and everything?
No, I don't. Eric Newman, what's Eric got to say here? He says, your sponsor, Lauer Auto, is a heck of a good guy. I made a comment last week about my van having issues. Next day, Axe got in contact with me and tried helping it. Now that's top-notch service. Yes, it is. And we appreciate it. And Axe does do a good job. But when he went on the hog hunt, we were on vacation, right? And he, I just think he loves it so much. He hopped right on that buggy and started working on that old Ford buggy we had down there. And we got her going. Wasn't perfect, but David and him hopped right in there and got it going. So thanks to those guys. All right. So we're going to go probably into the badass, right?
Right.
And then we'll do the giveaway. Is that the plan? Or are we going to?
That's the plan. During the giveaway, we'll talk about it here, and then we'll go to the badass. And of course, while the badass is playing, you got a chance to call us up, and we're going to repeat an older episode of Badass because I'm slack too right now, and I could not get the one I'm working on done, which is a good one, but I couldn't get it done this time. So we're going to play one of our older ones, but this is the number, 605-770-7027, 605-770-7027. And here's the deal. Of course, we're going to bring up the question that you need to answer, and whoever the first caller to get the right answer, and that number is going to win themselves some Bloodline Kinetics.
And so that'll give you, we're going to do this. You can call during the Badass of the Week segment. And then Mike's going to be answering the phone. So you can get a hold of Mike and give him, he's got the correct answer. We give it to him already. So he's got the correct answer to the question. You have to go look probably a little for it, but it shouldn't be that hard. So with that, let's go do it. So here, this is from our sponsor, Bloodline Kinetics. Here's their website. Go to bloodlinekinetics.com. And I can tell you right now that, here's the question. What was the original name that Bloodline Kinetics opened their business up under? And go to bloodlinekinetics.com. You're going to be able to find the answer there. I'm kind of giving you some big hints here. And you're going to want to call during Badass of the Week, 605-770-7027. Again, the question is, what was the original name that Bloodline Kinetics opened their business up under? So keep that in mind. And with that, I'm going to let you go ahead and take us into the
badass of the week.
And then make my phone ring, right?
There we go.
All right, go for it.
What up, badasses? Well, it's time again for the Guns in the 701 Badass of the Week. And this week, we're going back to the Civil War for Frances Lewis Clayton, also known as Frances Clayton or Jack Williams. What? Yep, she was seeking help to receive back pay and bounty money owed to her and her deceased husband during the Civil War. She traveled around the Midwest as she headed from Missouri to Minnesota, and then from Minnesota to Grand Rapids, Michigan, and then from Grand Rapids to Quincy, Illinois, and from Illinois to presumably Washington, D.C. to locate someone with authority to grant her request. It's nice to know the bureaucracy has been around for a long, long time. Anyway, along the way, she spoke to some reporters about her previous double life as a Union soldier. Now let's go back just a little bit. Frances Lewis Clayton and her husband were from Minnesota. Her husband's name is not exactly clear. One newspaper gives it as Frank Clayton, and apparently a confusion of Frances's own name, while another source named him John or Elmer. I don't know how you do John or Elmer, but that's what they did. Anyway, following the outbreak of the American Civil War in 1861, the Claytons decided to enlist in the Union Army, with Frances disguising herself as a man named Jack Williams. They joined the Missouri Regiment that was mustered in St. Paul, Minnesota, and for another 22 months fought side by side at the Battle of Stone River from December 31st, 1962 to January 2nd of 1963. Of course, their service did come to an end. In the assault, General William Rosecrans helped the Union control on central Tennessee, while Frances's husband succumbed to a bullet wound that he got on the front lines. Now, forced by the ensuing battle, Frances told reporters that she had to step over his corpse during the conflict. Shortly after this fateful day, she reported her deception to the higher-ups and was discharged from the Army, even though she was injured 3 times during the 18 battles that she supposedly fought. Of course, she notes that her identity was never revealed. Now, from 1863 to 1965, her name appeared in newspaper articles reiterating the story. In addition, she had pictures taken of her in and out of Union military dress in 1865 by Samuel Mallory. Now, that was a photography guy out of Boston, Massachusetts. These pictures became several of the most well-known photographs of women soldiers in the Civil War. However, the authenticity of her story has been questioned by historians. Several of the newspapers have contradictory information, such as what regiment she served in and which battles she fought in. Also, newspapers focused on her cross-dressing more, because heaven forbid they could do a story on a woman who fought in battle. Now, there were no records revealing if she ever received a pension she sought, or where she went after 1865. And because of the lack of evidence, some historians wonder if she did fight or fabricated the story for money and fame. Now, if she did fight in the Civil War as a female soldier, then she became part of the ranks of Albert Cashier, born Jenny Hodgers, who fought for the 95th Illinois Infantry, Loretta Janetta Velasquez, who served as a soldier and a spy in the Confederacy, Sarah Rosetta Wakeman, who enlisted as a Private Lyons Wakeman, and numerous other women soldiers who have been lost to history. Now, the War Department at the National Archives contains no discharge or hospital records. It's possible that Frances simply fabricated her story and posed in a photographer's prop uniform to include a non-standard infantry jacket, an officer's sword, in an effort to profit from the war via donations and a fraudulent pension application. But it could go the other way, and it did in many cases. Clayton and her story have served as an inspiration to many, including Beth Gilliland, who produced a 1996 play called Civil Ceremony. Either way, she did have supposedly the wounds from several battles. Now, as Jack Williams, she could have served. Many women have done so. And it goes all the way back to the Revolutionary War. And it goes all the way back to wars before that, in time immemorial. Like I said, no real proof, but I got to root for the girl. That's right. I think she's a badass. And I think she was in battle with her husband because she didn't want him to go off and fight alone. And that's why I consider Francis Lewis Clayton, otherwise known as Jack Williams, as a total badass. Well, this has been Badass of the Week on gunsandthe701.com. We appreciate all you, of course, that have tuned in to look at this. And remember, in order to do more of these shows and more badasses out there through history, well, it always helps to have a little money to pay for equipment, to pay for studio time, and all kinds of other stuff. See that little icon up in the corner, the QR code? You can go right there and either check out, of course, where you can donate a little bit of cash, $5, $10, whatever you feel like, or you can even buy some of our merch from the gunsandthe701.com store. So check that out if you have time. We would appreciate. And remember, if you got a badass in history you want us to talk about, you can always send us an email at gunsandthe701.com. It's that simple. And we'd love to hear from you. And remember, as Clay always says, keep your powder dry and stay safe.
All right. Hey, we're back.
All right. We're back.
All right. So did your phone ring off the hook?
My phone did ring a bunch.
So, before we give the winner.
Yeah.
And that's why I showed that picture right away, guys. It was actually in there. If you look real closely, the answer is in there. And the answer is ethical precision.
There we go.
So if you look right there, there it is. In their about section, it says ethical precision. We started out building custom rifles part-time while trying to run another full-time business. We were formerly known as Ethical Precision. We kept getting in more customers simply by word of mouth. We had to make a decision, and we decided that we should make ourselves available full-time. Then they expanded their hours. They thought they needed a different name, and they became more than just building rifles, so they changed the name to Bloodline Kinetics. And you can go on there. We wanted you to go to the website of our actual sponsor. So that was a nice little way to do this. And we want to thank Jacob and Bloodline Kinetics for the great donation. I think it probably went over pretty good, it looks like. And I don't think you waited long, did you?
No.
All right.
I had some people call me up, but the first one had it right. So yeah. We're good.
And Josh Patterson said that he says, I knew the name. He says that's when I did business with them when they were still under that. So he's been with them for a long time. So, all right. Do you want to give us the winner?
I don't have a drum roll yet.
We should have had a little bit.
I should, but I don't have it yet. It just said Eric Newman. Eric.
Oh, Eric.
From Shade Hill. There we go.
Long-time listener. So congrats, Eric. I know he'll put that to use. Now, the thing is, do you have a suppressor yet? There. Now you're going to have to buy one. By the way, we might know a guy can hook you up. Bloodline Kinetics, Little Angry Man Firearms, Mandan Sporting Goods, all carry suppressors, so we can get him hooked up with a great suppressor. I'm pretty sure of it. So, well, congratulations, Eric, and thanks again to Bloodline Kinetics and Jacob for donating that for us. Eric, I guess I have this, and I live close.
Yeah, Eric says that he'll run into you in the next week or so, so
yes,
we'll be good to go.
All right. Well, there. We did that. That was kind of fun to do and worked out good. And you got to see another great badass. I'm telling you, that was a good segment when you did it the first time. I liked it again. So,
yep.
All right. Now, why don't we go? Let's see. Well, let's go into this next deal quickly, and then we'll take a break and come back and wrap it up.
Yeah. I was paying attention because I just noticed I got my draw for my deer. For any whitetail up here near you, yeah. So I got to check and see if Jack got his, and then we'll be good to go. So
I'll tell you what. Before we do go into that, maybe I'll do something quick like here. I'm going to put this up here. Jamie's got 701 Nation coming up, and let's see if this will work if I put it up here. Right there, yeah. So here's what's happening with 701 Nation tomorrow night. Jamie's going to be doing JD's deer tag reveal. Did he get one or not? Are you as good a shot as you think you are?
Yeah.
The one rifle I wish I hadn't sold.
All
of them? Anyway.
All of them? Yeah, all of them.
What's your go-to rifle when you can't
miss a moment? Yeah.
Yep. And then the Armed Citizen story. So he's got a pretty good show, a good lineup. You know, he's going to be actually competing, I think, with the debate tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know what? We know most of our audience knows what they're going to do. You might as well just tune in to 701 Nation and have JD give you a good dose of reality, right?
I like that.
So I did get my tag, but I get a gratis, so it's not a big deal. We as landowners in North Dakota, we can get our gratis tag. So myself and both my boys have a tag. Glad to have. Good thing you're going to have one. I think you're going to be staying with us. So
yeah, we're
going to be staying up this way. Yeah.
Get Jack's. This is Jack's first year for a buck. So I put in for him. So I'm going to see if he got his here in just a little bit. And
okay.
So it's going to be
I know a lot of guys did not get their North Dakota tags this year in their first draw. So they'll have to do some. In fact, the guy that put my AC and a good friend of mine comes down hunting. He did. None of them got a tag.
Yeah, I was reading a lot of our quotes on our Guns in the 701 page on our part of Facebook. What is it? The background thing. Where anyway.
Oh yeah.
One of the side things where we're all making comments. Anyway, so yeah, I noticed that, and it was a lot of guys did not get Messenger. There we go,
Messenger. Okay.
Yeah, a lot of guys weren't getting them. So yeah, I feel pretty lucky right now. So
I got to go back up here a little bit here. I guess I was kind of missing out on these comments. Says Gene Cox, the Civil War was fought in the 1860s, not the early 1960s.
What did I say? Did I say 1960s?
I missed that part. But you're right, Gene.
Right. I had to go back and edit some other stuff I did when I was talking about.
Wow.
And sometimes you know what?
I do got to put this one up, though. Josh Patterson, he says, I checked out a suppressor at Mandan Sporting Goods last week. They were very helpful with any questions I had. Great. Another great sponsor and another great listener going there. Eric says, Jamie's going to love this. God's caliber is what he's going to get threaded. God's caliber.
God's caliber.
Gotta love it. Gotta love it. So Eric says he got a double whitetail, and so did my daughter, Prairie. My wife got turned down.
Huh.
Well, okay, she might got turned down for a tag, but I don't think she's ever been turned down in your house. You got 6 kids, Eric, so.
Ouch.
Yeah, I just had to do that.
Yeah, there you go.
Let's see. JD, he's got in. He's right on. I couldn't agree more. Catch the highlights on Clay and Buck Friday on 550. Yeah, I mean, I think pretty much everybody kind of knows that. I had actually thought about doing a play-by-play thing. You know, we could have done that, streamed it in like we did, but I got to, you know what? I know I'm going to be haying, so I don't have time.
Yeah, you're haying, and I got 12
and I'm decided. So, but we're going to talk. So that's a good lead into our next subject, isn't it?
Yes. Yes, it is.
So I'm going to let you go first.
So what we're going to talk about is the fact that we have tomorrow the big debate, the debate to end all debates and all that other good stuff. Yeah. Of course, Biden and Trump are going to get together, and where they in Georgia, no crowd in this play. They're going to have somebody's going to be in control of the microphones. So I'm waiting to see. It's going to be a cluster is really what I think it's going to be. But my question was for you, Clay, how likely do you think Second Amendment issues are going to come up in this debate, or will they be sticking on everything else, or will it just be a name-calling freak show?
I don't know. You know, I can tell you what I hope Trump does, and then we can go into what I think will happen. I really hope that Trump can just gather his faculties as far as how he can get. I don't care what he says, as far as mean tweets and crap like that. I think it's funny. I think it's great. I'm like, me, I'm kind of a tell it how it is guy too.
Yeah.
But as far as in the debate, I don't know how many people are undecided. There's probably a small percentage of undecided votes. I mean, voting's about ready to start in some of these states. So it's kind of irrelevant. I suppose that's why they did it so early too, partially. Just let the dumb ass talk. Let Biden talk and mumble and step all over himself. And that's all Trump's got to do. There's only 2 things he's really going to have to address that I imagine the Biden camp is going to bring up if they can keep him awake for 90 minutes. And that's going to be January 6th riots. It wasn't an insurrection. It wasn't even a riot. It was a gathering of a lot of peaceful people. I mean, there were some morons there. Then that's a whole other story. We're not going to go down.
Okay.
And I mean, there's no reason. We know what happened there. And the bad apples, as with anything, made things bad.
Right.
And that's just the way that went. But Trump did not incite it. In fact, he said gather peacefully, but he even got the tweets to prove it at that time. And then I imagine they're going to bring up that he's a convicted felon. Well, that's all. If I was Trump, I'd be like, yes, I was convicted in a New York state court by a sham judge by an attorney general who decided that he was going to go after me, and that's how he ran, and he did. And not just that, there was no merit. The Department of Justice, none of these places wanted to bring these charges, and actually said there was no case there until he decided to run. And that's a factual statement. They had every opportunity to do it, and they didn't do it. So if I was him right out of the gate, address them two things, call a spade, and then let it go. Don't get into a yelling match. Don't interrupt him. I hope Trump can do that, because then he's the winner. I mean, just let Biden go on, because if Biden gets off script, well, we've all seen that result.
Right.
Now, will gun issues come up? I agree with Gene. No, I don't think you're going to see too much gun-related stuff. And he said, Prague dismissed the charges against the goons that stormed Columbia. Go figure. The city's lack of evidence. Well, and there's no evidence.
Lack of evidence. I mean, come on. They're in there. They're fighting you to keep you out of the buildings, but no evidence.
If I was Trump, and you gotta remember, this is at CNN. He is walking in to the devil's lair at CNN. And I'm telling you, he's not going to get a fair shake. I think everybody understands that. I think people are going to be tuning in more so to see just how bad Biden does. Now, well, they got him ramped up on Anadol or Amadol, whatever that, or I don't remember what the name of the drug is that they said they use. I don't know if he's on drugs or not. Biden's not there. I've seen clips from his big fundraiser out in California, and he can't put a sentence together. He wanders off. This isn't just tiredness of an old man. It's common. It happens all the time, and people see it. And I think we all know that this is probably more of a test. Are the Democrats going to run him? And I know that sounds to some like, oh, what do you mean? Are they going to run him? I think it's a test, because at their Democrat National convention is late. What is it, August this year?
Yeah, August.
So we'll see how he does in this debate.
They still got Newsom. They got Newsom in the wings, I'm sure.
It could be anybody. We'll see what happens. Or, I mean, I don't know. As far as the debate goes, I don't think you're going to see much on gun stuff. Biden might bring up his bipartisan Unsafe Communities Act, as far as I'm concerned, but he can't really talk about it because he don't even know much about it. And he's been a moron for all the 47 or whatever years he's been there, as far as being an anti-gunner.
Right.
I don't think there's, and Trump's not. I mean, really, there's nothing to debate really there. We know where they both stand on that issue. I think that Trump needs to hammer away, because right now the number one issue in any poll is what?
Border.
Illegal aliens crossing the border. Absolutely. And I think that's where Trump's not a shine. He had the lowest numbers we'd ever seen. Fact. That's just the way it is. He did build a lot of the wall. Fact. Stick to the facts and move on. And I think he'll do well. If he goes off and starts doing the personal insults and trying to interrupt, I don't think it shows well. Yeah. As far as will the debate change anybody's minds?
No.
I don't think so. I think it's a litmus test for Biden. Can he do it? And if he can't, what do we do about it in August? I really do.
Oh, Doug, bite your tongue.
Hillary and Newsom.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, please run Hillary.
Oh, well, yeah, you got a good point there. Yeah, I got a good point. Yeah, I mean, that would be definitely a death knell right there to the Democratic Party. So, yeah, good.
And Gene, I just seen his deal. Yeah, you're right. I can't wait to hear about the double-digit inflation, the crushed energy independence, and the border. Exactly. Trump needs to stick to that, because Trump is winning in every single one of them categories. And rightfully so, because he had, whether you like Trump or not, how were you doing during the Trump years, Mike? I know I was doing a hell of a lot better financially.
Oh, you're waiting for me?
Yeah. I said, how are you doing? I mean, I don't know about you, but I like the $1.98 gas and diesel. I had more expendable income. I didn't like paying triple for twine. I didn't like paying this year triple for diesel. Pretty much every aspect of running the operation here on the ranch has doubled or tripled, hands down. I don't know. I don't like it, and I know it's because of the inflation and what they've been doing. You can't keep doing what they're doing. and then not expect it. And now you got so many countries are going off of the dollar. I mean, they're not buying oil using the dollar.
No.
They're accepting rubles. They're accepting the yen, I believe now. You cannot do that. And not just that. Yesterday I was listening to a report because that's what I do. I'm bored. I'm a stats nerd. And now you got countries like India and China and all these little other countries that guess what they're starting to buy goods and services with? Their own currencies.
Yeah.
They're not using the American dollar. And when we start losing the American dollar as the world
currency,
guess what happens? It goes under.
Right.
It's historically happened every time, and that's where we're headed. So go ahead.
Well, we've had you were talking about China, but you brought up India, and India is kind of the hidden guy in the room.
Yes.
They are not our friends. They are not our friends at all. They're not actually anybody's friends. So they themselves have their own plan about how to become their own superpower and take us down with them. I mean, hell, they sent a damn guy to assassinate somebody they didn't like on Canadian grounds, because he was an opposition party guy, and there's word that they've tried the same things here in the United States, yet we don't talk about that because we're an ally with them. It says we don't talk about that stuff. I'm like, you should be talking about that stuff because that ain't an ally. A friend stabs me in the back, then that is not my friend, and say what you want to say. I mean, obviously things need to change. Yeah. Killing the dollar is the Biden backers end game. There you go.
Absolutely. It is. And you're right. India's not our friend. And everyone overlooks that little bitty country and goes, oh, well, they're just, they're not our friend. They try to undermine us. We should cut them off and just be done with them. But they do consume. I mean, they're starting to be one of the fastest growing consumers on the world market of goods and services and products.
There's a prime example. The Biden example just announced that they are banning Kaspery, which is an online virus detection service, kind of like Norton's and everything else. It's a competitor to Norton's, but it's a Russian owned company. So they've decided that since they're Russian backed completely, that they're going to no longer allow them here in the United States. I don't know how that works. And, we have this,
speaking of Russia,
but that right there is a prime example that if India decides that it doesn't want to be friendly with us, you could do the same thing to them. You could do the same thing to China. You could do the same thing.
Absolutely.
You says, you know what? X products, whatever, we'll just cut you off. And what if they do it to us? Well, you know what? Someone better learn how to do code.
So and you want a little history reference? I know we're talking about the debate. And I'd actually probably bring this up in a debate with a guy like Biden, just not because Biden would understand it. Did you know that before we had a federal income tax, how do you think we funded the country?
Actually, I can't remember this. I remember it in civics, but I can't remember.
Tariffs.
Yeah, there you go.
Our entire federal government was funded by tariffs before
stuff that came in.
Think about
to pay to be here.
Yes, they had to pay access to our market. And I mean, it was a lot smaller than it is now, but tariffs are not a new thing. Tariffs have been around forever, and tariffs used to replace that. And honestly, tariffs were never higher as far as income coming in than they were under the 4 years of Trump. That's he has announced that tariffs would be coming back if he gets reelected,
and they should come back. And you're absolutely right on that. I mean, something besides the policies we have now, where we have these. You're milking out the middle class for programs left and right that a lot of people don't want.
So this is this is guns and the 701, which is North Dakota. Let's just look at the energy sector right now.
Yep, perfect example.
Under the Biden administration and regime, because he's not running it, they brag about all the leases that are available on basically taxpayer-owned land. Yeah, they're available, but they're not letting them out. They're not awarding them to anybody, or they are, but you can't use them. We have our production is at the lowest point it's been in several years, and under Trump it was at the highest point. And you can see the difference. Now we're buying oil from our adversaries again, rather than our own production right here.
And we proved
the last time was down, and now it's up.
We proved the last time that we could produce oil up in the oil fields in North Dakota.
Absolutely.
and cut out the foreign oil coming in, and we were fine.
We were. Gene makes a really good point here. He goes, tariffs.
Gene's on a roll.
Trump pointed out that you don't see Detroit cars in Japan, and you don't.
You do not.
Now, I will say one thing about Japanese vehicles because I've driven them, and I can tell you right now, at least Toyota's got a big plant here, but the stuff's still going. The profits are going over to Japan, to their owners. They make a hell of a good product. I can't say about the brand new ones, but the older ones, and even in a few years back, you can't kill a Toyota pickup. I mean,
well, I'll tell you right now, a Toyota Hilux is the chosen choice for anybody in a regime taking over another country. I mean,
but I agree. If you're going to bring them in, then they should be tariffed.
I agree too. And so you have Harley Davidson is over in Japan. It's very expensive, but it's over in Japan. I mean, why can't the rest of us? But
right now, Volkswagen, I don't know if you know this, Volkswagen offers a diesel motor. They offer it in their Passats. They offer it in what's the other little car? I can't think of it off the top of my head. Anyway,
the Golf.
They offer it. What's that?
I think Golf. Do they still make the Golf?
Maybe. There was another one though. But so I actually was looking at it because I had a Passat in a gas version. I mean, the thing got 45 miles a gallon, had a little 6-speed in it. Yeah. And that was a 1989. Yeah. And you think about the mileage guys, everybody knows I don't really care or think much of speed limits. And I can tell you right now, at 80 mile an hour, that thing got between 43 and 45 miles a gallon. That's outstanding. The diesels were better, but they're only allowed to import so many diesels into the country. Yeah. And it's really hard to get a diesel Volkswagen because of it. So, I mean, they do it to other companies, but they don't do it to some. They're picking winners and losers. And yeah, we can go down that economy thing all night long. But as far as the debate tomorrow night, I don't think you're going to see too much of gun issues. I really don't. If you do, it's going to be a back and forth of their ideology, and that's about it. I mean, we know what Trump's going to say. Trump did have the slip up on the bump stock. That's been settled by the Supreme Court now. And
true.
I think Trump probably understands it was a big mistake. But he was listening to the wrong people, and that happened really early in his tenure. So I don't think you can. Trump's come a long ways on the Second Amendment. He used to be here in the middle, right? Maybe even a little left. I think that has swung all the way to the right. I don't really have a doubt about that anymore. And I think when Trump gets in there, you're going to see a lot of these regs coming out of the ATF gone. I think you're going to see the ATF maybe gone. It's definitely going to be downsized, or it's going to be reformed. I have no doubt about that. And it should be. It should be. So I don't know. Tomorrow's debate, I think, is everyone's expecting fireworks. I'm not. No. I think it's going to be there's no crowd. It's at CNN. You got dumbass Tapper and Dana Bush, whatever her stupid name is. Yeah. Wasn't she the one that he called a nasty person? Seems like
no, I think it was another one. But Dana Bash looks like the she looks like the
liberals all look alike.
Well, she looks like she looks like the human version of that girl that was in the band of the Muppets, the blonde girl.
Wow, okay, that's funny. I know who you're talking about. I used to
automatically you knew.
I did. Okay, that's great. I'm gonna have to look up a picture of her. But
there you go.
And let's not forget that her husband, if you don't know this, and don't ask me why I know this stuff, I remember everything.
You just know.
And her husband, who's they're divorced now, he was one of the was it CIA or FBI? I think it was CIA. He was one of the guys that signed that letter about the Russia collusion and the Russian information on Hunter Biden's laptop that said and attested in a letter saying it didn't exist when they'd had it for a year. We all know that's truthful and factual now. And he was her husband at the time when this was happening. And I'm pretty sure that there's a conflict of interest there. She's multiple times said she don't like Trump. So is Tapper. I mean, Tapper's stuff is coming out right now, and I think that's kind of funny. So this is going to be very one-sided. I think Trump knows this. I'll give Trump this. Trump is doing something that Biden would never do.
Right.
Biden would never go to an unfriendly setting such as this. Trump is doing what a lot of Republicans would never do. Go into the hornet's nest and go right in there and say, yes, I will do this under any circumstances just to show you I will do it, and I'm doing it for the people. And he is. He has no qualms. He knows exactly what he's going into. And I don't know. I might click in once in a while. Maybe I'll grab my phone when I'm in the Baylor and watch a little of it. I haven't decided, but I'd rather watch 701 Nation. So 701 Nation and Jamie. Well, I'll tell you what, let's take a quick break. When we'll come back, we'll wrap this.
We'll take a double. We'll talk about Jamie again real quick for tomorrow's show. Talk about Friday, and we'll be back in a second for GunsInThe701.com.
If you're having a bad day, just remember, there's somebody out there pulling a door that says push. Fucking dumbasses.
I'm from the Athlete's Foot Foundation.
Brother, hey, can you get my demo tape to somebody?
Lauer Auto Repair, located at 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota. Give them a call at 701-258-6308. The team of mechanics at Lauer Auto can take care of any problem your vehicle is having. And when you do business with Lauer, you can be assured you're doing business with a pro Second Amendment America First repair shop. There are plenty of other auto repair shops in the Bismarck-Mandan area. But why take a chance at patronizing a shop that might not have your beliefs at heart? Make no mistake. Lauer Auto is your pro Second Amendment repair shop. When you talk to the guys at Lauer Auto, don't forget to tell them that you heard they are a sponsor of Guns and the 701 and that you appreciate their support of our pro Second Amendment, pro North Dakota live stream and podcast. That's Lauer Auto Repair, 701-258-6308. 701-258-6308. Located 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Experience the exhilaration of power in your hands at Bloodline Kinetics. Why Cerakote? Simply, it aids in firearm preservation while also giving your piece a unique look. Barrel threading, NFA laser engraving, bolt handle threading, mount, level, and bore, sight scope chamber, rebarreling, and much more. Bloodline Kinetics is meant to reflect a long American lineage in gun ownership, who stand for the Second Amendment rights, Bloodline, and the science behind gun accuracy, Kinetics. To some, it's just a constitutional right that can go away. To us, it's in our American bloodline, and we believe it should stay that way. Here at Bloodline Kinetics, we understand that hunters, sportsmen, women, and gun owners should have a quality firearm. Stop and see us at 2008 Morrison Avenue 2 in Bismarck, North Dakota, 58504, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Call 701-390-7997. Visit our website, bloodlinekinetics.com.
All right. Welcome back, everybody, for our very brief last segment of Guns in the 701. I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. All our viewers on Twitch and Rumble. Rumble's been holding right in there with us. And even the website, I checked it out, Mike. We had a few watching there tonight. So.
Awesome. Hey, I got Steve Camp is a brother of mine from fraternity back in South Carolina, of course, Coastal Carolina University. He is listening today. I think he's in North Carolina, so he's tuning into the show. So I appreciate that. Thank you very much, brother.
Absolutely. So let's get back to this right now. I don't have any more on the debate. I think
that's pretty much what it is. What it is.
It's going to be boring. So we'll let everyone who has to watch it and give us a recap.
Rundown. Yeah.
I just want to mention that again, Jamie's going to be on tomorrow night, 701 Nation. And what he's got on the docket for you guys is JD's deer tag reveal. Did he get one? I don't know. I think he applied actually for a mule deer buck, but we'll see. Are you as good of a shot as you think you are? How about you, Mike?
No. No. I like to shoot in quantity. not quality. So there you go.
Well, I can tell you now that I have a 500 and a 700-yard target out here, we're going to put you on the bench and have you try it out this fall when you get up here. So.
I still got my THIS hit system from the Rapid City, or was that from the Hills?
Yeah, well, he lived in Rapid City. He actually sold that to a different company, and now he runs another gun. He's got a different gun shop. So,
great.
Well,
I got that system that I'm going to have to pull out and work on my my shooting just a little bit, long range. So
Then Jamie's got on there the one rifle I wish I hadn't sold. I think we all got one of them. I'm just about sure of it. I can tell you one of mine is going to be, it was my SKS. Not that it was a great gun, just that now they're kind of hard to, I don't have one in my collection. That's just killing me. But now they want a lot of money for it. When I bought that one, I think I paid $70 for it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'd like to, everyone's got that one rifle you wish you hadn't sold. And 4, what's your go-to rifle when it can't miss moment? Mine's my Winchester 270. I've said that many times. It was the first rifle I purchased, and I am pretty zeroed in with it. I'm pretty deadly with my Swift. Jamie can attest to that. I was popping dogs when they came up to when we went up there. And then the Armed Citizen story. So that's what's on the docket for tomorrow night. 701 Nation. Tune in there, guys. The hell with the debate. Go tune in to 701 Nation, right?
Yeah. You'll get the best. You'll get the best lead. Everybody will rehash it all later. And don't forget Friday. Of course, we're going to be. Are we back to different times on that for Friday?
No, that day, as far as I know, I don't know if the Twins were off or didn't catch it. I don't know what the deal was, but Jamie was in studio. Had a great time. And by the way, we're going to be on. We got invited to come back to Dakota Mornings.
All right, awesome.
Mike Beld. We got a lot of grief like that, guys. Don't kill the messenger. If we can get on and expose ourselves on one of the biggest radio stations in North Dakota, we're going to do it. And K-Fire is that big stick. So if Mike wants to have us on, we're more than happy to go on there.
Yeah.
And we'll have to work on that. It sounds like it's going to be a regular segment every so often, Monday morning, maybe. I'm hoping.
Awesome.
We were kind of we were kind of talking about that. Me and Jamie going, hey, let's call it 2A Monday or something like that. So
right, sounds good.
We'd love to deliver information to everybody, and it'll be more broad than just politics on there, I'm sure. Any last minute comments? Brian says, I got a buddy that always says, as long as there's lead in the air, there's hope. There you go. Love it. Eric says, JD got a skinhead tag, I bet, meaning a doe. So we'll see.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, then of course, Friday morning on Mitchell in the Morning. I got a couple ideas, Mike. I want to do an Armed Citizen. We've been trying to put one of them in there.
Right.
I don't know if you saw an article I sent you about Chicago, and people are rethinking being armed there, aren't they?
Just a little bit, yeah. Since some of the criminals have gone down hard, with people protecting themselves.
I imagine, I'm going to know then if there was any gun issues discussed in the debate. So who knows? Maybe we'll be rehashing that a little bit. I don't want to go into depth on it. But yeah, so you want to tune in there, 5:50 a.m. And again, it's our usual time until the Twins is done for the season is going to be 7:40 Mountain Time and 8:40 Central Time in the morning on KFYR, 5:50 a.m. or on iHeartRadio. You can tune in there and find them there as well. And of course, we broadcast live on all of our platforms as well. So that's about all we got going on.
That's all we got going on. So
fourth is coming up the next following week. I want everybody to remember it's not the 4th of July. It's Independence Day, for the celebration of our independence. And remember why we're there. It's not just another weekend to go out and drink beer and get drunk and be stupid. Kind of remember why we're here, because it's getting important.
We get lost on all that minutia and all that stuff, and we tend to forget for a little while about why we're celebrating this, and that we're letting it happen again. So we need to all be aware.
So, all right. Well, then let's. I do this. I try to remember to do it. I want to end the night with a prayer. Lord, we want to thank you for the beautiful day, the beautiful weather, and everything you have provided each and every one of us. We hope that the gifts you've given to us, we can use, that they will delight in your will, and you will help guide us through every obstacle we see. Our nation is in trouble. There's no doubt about it. We were founded on a Christian value, and we exist because of you. We are a Christian nation. We hope that you will help everyone find their way and once again save this great republic and let it become the once great nation that it was when we all believed in you and practiced what you were telling us. Please watch over our men and women as they defend this country, and they sign that check, but blank check, with their life. And if you do call them home, please comfort their families. But we'd like to see you all safely return. In your name we pray. Amen.
So what it be? There we go.
All right. Well, with that, everybody, have a great evening. Have a great rest of the week. Have a great weekend. I'm going to head to the hayfield. I got to head out
to work.
I'm done here. Back to work. Got in at 11 o'clock last night, but I'm glad we got hay to make. I think we're averaging close to three bales an acre on that stuff we're doing right now. That's fantastic for here. So very, very, very happy with that. But I guess that's all I got for tonight.
That's all I got. I'll see you on Friday, and I'll be listening to 701 Nation tomorrow.
Absolutely. And as we always say, keep your powder dry, everybody. Have a great night, a great